So, good afternoon and welcome along to the third edition of the Pixiecasts. And you'll be able to see that we've got three very special people actually, and there's a story behind that. But certainly two special adults and one little one this afternoon. I'm delighted to be joined by Mandy. I nearly called you Shandy, Mandy, Merly, Curly, Whirly then. But, call you Mandy. And the lovely Kimball as well, who I've never spoken to until about 2 minutes ago. Hi guys, how are you both?
We've typed messages and such, but
Yeah. I've not heard your voice, I don't think, until today. Well, I think I might have heard you once. You did a video, didn't you, when you got a Foo Fighters
right.
package? Yeah.
Hold on, are you admitting that you've never listened to the podcast then?
Yeah.
Busted!
I haven't. No, I haven't actually, which is terrible. A terrible admission.
You know what? Mandy hasn't listened to all of them either.
Well, there you go.
I enjoy them. They're really good. They're just very long.
I do. That is something I've shamed in the first 2 minutes. So I'm going to go back and listen to them all because you're going to come on, I think, as well again, aren't you?
I don't know. I mean, I think Hector and Dusty, the other guys in the Planet Sound podcast thing we do. They want to, and so I don't know. Maybe I'll just sit back and let them talk in that one.
Okay.
And then when they do something wrong, I'll say no, that's wrong.
Yeah, you can just set them back on the path of fact.
I feel terrible now. That's a worse admission than saying that I don't like the Cult of Ray or that I don't really like Frank Black and the Catholics. So.
Hey, I'm not a massive fan of the Catholics either. I never really
got into it.
Yeah, it's just something about it. I don't know if it's a bit.
Oh no! Stop! No! Oh, it's the stuff of nightmares, Kimball. I don't know what it is. It's just I just can't deal with it.
If this image gives you problems, look at that sleeve.
Oh, I've got the album. I've got the album on CD, so and I think I've played it once, maybe twice. And
you need to fix that. You need to play it.
You know what, Andrew?
I love it.
I'm gonna design alternate artwork for you.
Thank you.
Slide it into your CD, and then maybe you
more. That will be good. As I said to Pixie the other day, I literally have had nightmares where that vision has been sort of going around in my dream. So it hasn't really endeared me to that album. So there you go. So
makes it hard to forget then, right?
Yeah, very true. Very true. So anyway, a big story to tell from you two. And of course, Pixies are pretty much at the center of that. The reason why you two got together. I guess chances are you wouldn't have got together had it not been for Pixies, would you?
Our paths would never have crossed, I don't think.
I don't think it would have been in a Foo Fighters fan page.
No.
Or definitely not an REM fan page.
No.
I'd forgotten about that, Kimball.
Definitely
Mandy, what is going on there? What is going on there?
On a Vampire Weekend.
Vampire Weekend, yeah.
And Blur, don't forget Blur.
Yeah, I had to bring those up because I know they're your favorites.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This has been a great start, hasn't it, to this?
Sorry.
Shall we pretend the last 5 minutes didn't happen?
Planet of Sound podcast is 3 hours long each because we just ramble and go.
So you don't edit it then? You just play it out?
He edits. We edit a lot out of it actually.
Okay.
We trim it and we put audio in and.
Yeah. See, I don't have those skills.
Spend about 5 hours taking out all of my mouth breathing.
Okay.
It bugs the hell out of me, and I'm like, I'm taking it out. And Hector and Dusty are like, no one ever notices. I'm like, but I notice, and it drives me mad. So yeah.
Well, there won't be any editing of this one, I can promise you. Mainly because I won't be able to do it. So.
Good. Put it out there.
So whatever you say, oh, look at this. My beautiful wife has brought me a cup of coffee. What a star. I've just got back from doing a football match. I just got back from Bristol. So I've been in Bristol this afternoon doing a football commentary. So,
what are you going to say to me?
Sorry?
What are you going to tell me?
What a wonderful wife you are.
There you go.
I just said you're a wonderful wife. And amazing.
Gorgeous.
Yes, beautiful. Fantastic. Yeah. Lovely.
Gorgeous.
Brilliant technical support.
Right, cheers.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. And that's what a husband's supposed to do.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, coffee in hand. Yeah. So where were we? Editing your your Planet of Sound podcast. How many of those have you done? It's about half a dozen.
Ooh,
more.
About 30.
30.
Yeah. Well, the thought was we would go album by album, and then somewhere along the line, Dusty was like, "Hey, let's start talking about other stuff too." And so then we started just talking about music in general. And so we'll have Frank Black / Pixies centric episodes. Then we'll have episodes about whatever topic we can come up with.
Okay, cool. So, how are you finding life in England anyway, Kimball?
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, wife, baby.
Yeah.
House.
Crap weather.
Never could have bought a house in Los Angeles where I was.
Really? Okay. Is it expensive there? Yeah.
Crazy. I mean, a very normal, modest house is like $1 million.
Right. Okay. That is a lot. Yeah.
I don't know how people do it. So yeah, it was crazy. I mean, 3 years ago, we had just started talking on Facebook.
Yeah. So who messaged who first?
That was me. I had
good
wines, and I just
you'd had a few wines, okay.
And just sent him a little message, and
it went from there.
Yeah.
And look what happened.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Beautiful.
I wouldn't recommend it to everybody, but it worked out for us.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
No complaints from me.
And Paul and Michelle Zeiss are following in your footsteps.
Yeah.
As well, which is exciting stuff. Yeah. So so that went on for a little while, and then one of you obviously took the leap to go and visit the other one.
Yeah. So I guess we were chatting, and I was speaking a lot to Hector.
Yeah.
As Hector does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was trying to get me to come over to the gig in Vegas, and
yeah.
Here.
You're so grumpy.
We'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah. So just wanted a change of scenery.
Yeah, he wanted to be with his dad.
So I just thought, what have I got to lose? I might as well make the journey over, and just, it'll be a fun week or whatever. And yeah, I'd never been to the States. I'd never been outside Europe, actually. So yeah, I took the risk, and I came over to meet him, and it worked out.
Yeah.
I was pretty much a zombie. I hadn't slept for days. I was super nervous.
So was this the Vegas happening? Was that the first time that you met up?
Yeah, the Vegas happening.
Right.
That was when Pixie.
October
2017. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was when Pixie went over as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And she'd never flown before, never been out of the country before.
Yeah. So about fire, really. That's a long flight. So yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and I wasn't great. Like I have back problems anyway. So, and I didn't take my pain meds with me. So
sensible.
Yeah, I know. So I was a bit zonked and a bit out of it, and
it's like, hey, you're jet lagged, you're in pain. Come meet a dude you've never met before, and we'll get in the car and drive to Vegas.
Yeah.
In the middle of the desert. And I remember there were a couple points where I was using Waze or something, GPS traffic. So
yeah.
There was so much traffic on the motorway, the freeway, that it kind of took us like on these little desert roads. And I think at one point I took a wrong turn, and we were in the middle of nowhere. And I remember turning to you, I'm like, don't worry, I'm not taking you in the desert to kill you. Like, we're getting there, I promise.
Yeah.
So it worked out.
And he didn't kill me.
And he didn't kill you.
It was all right, I guess.
Something right must have happened that weekend.
Yeah. But that was a pretty intense first date, really.
Yeah, they don't get much more intense, I wouldn't imagine.
Yeah. I didn't know how, like, I'm not great at reading things, and I kind of came away from it thinking, we might not speak to each other again or whatever,
cool.
We're just friends.
Was he playing hard to get, was he?
No,
I'm just an idiot.
I was first of all back to when she first messaged me, because we were already Facebook friends, and I remember, seeing her profile and her picture. I'm like, oh, she seems really cool. But in my mind, I'm like, she's in England, I'm in LA. Nothing's ever gonna happen. Yeah. And so that day that she did drink a little courage and sent me some messages, I was like, whoa, this is cool.
Yeah.
But I guess neither of us thought it would ever, amount to anything really. And then came home and we carried on messaging, and then you decided that you were going to come over.
Yeah, the next month. So American Thanksgiving is end of November, and I came over and was going to be here just for a few days, but then I somehow lost my passport and had to get an emergency replacement. So that extended the visit by a few days. And
I remember that now. Yeah, I remember posting about that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and then we've done a few trips.
Yeah.
Either way.
I came and stayed for a few months, and I think by the end of that we'd figured out that it was a pretty serious deal, and so then it was just figuring out the specifics of how to get together, permanently. So
yeah.
So the early chats and that, were they just about Pixies and that, and then obviously sort of conversation broadened, or?
Didn't really even talk about Pixies much in the chat.
No? Wow. Okay.
That's what the group's
for, there's probably enough of that going on in
sure.
And in the friends group to some extent that I think.
Oh.
So how long does your love, both of you, for Pixies go back? Both of you.
Let's see. I first heard them probably about 1994.
Okay.
So I was 14 at that time, and I just kind of started to get into music. Of course, Nirvana had blown up, and so that was a big thing for a kid my age. And so, I'd listen to them, and my oldest brother at the time, he was in his early 20s, and he had a huge music collection. So I would kind of just, when he would go out, I'd sneak in his room and grab some of his CDs and listen to them and figure out, what I liked. And he was a big fan of REM, so that's kind of how I got into them. They're probably the first band I remember listening to.
Great band, REM.
And all that. But
so debatable.
Hey, come on. So Pixies, I don't know what made me grab which album. I'm thinking Doolittle was the first one I heard, because that's the first one I remember,
Yeah. So 94 would have been around sort of Trump time, wouldn't it? That would have been the most recent of the.
Yeah, but albums. They were very broken up, and I remember around the same time, like the first connection or the first thing that put it together, who Frank Black Charles was I remember I was watching some late night talk show. It was Conan O'Brien, for those in the States, and at the beginning of the show, they kind of flashed a picture of who the guests were that night. And Teenager of the Year had come out, and they put up a picture of the album cover of, Frank wearing the crown. And I'm like, who's that guy? Like, it's such a comical picture. I almost, imagine like a comedy act or something kind of silly. And then, so they were the musical guests, and they played, I think it was Freedom Rock, I think was what they played. But that was my first time seeing like, oh, okay, that's that guy. And then I think just reading magazines and stuff, I'm like, oh, that's the Pixies guy. And it kind of went from there. So 94 was Teenager of the Year, but I kind of got into Pixies then as well. And kind of Doolittle, I think, was the immediate favorite, and it still is my favorite. But yeah, I just pilfering my brother's CDs is how I stumbled across them. But the interesting thing is, my brother was childhood friends and is still really good friends with Ryan Boyle. Who's the admin in the group. And my brother got turned on to the Pixies from Ryan.
Okay.
So it's like 3 degrees of Kevin Bacon. But Boyle. And then speaking of Ryan, that's
who added me to the group. So we have Ryan to thank for a lot, really.
Yeah, Ryan. planted the seed in my brother to. That sounded gross. The Pixie seed.
You're gonna start a rumor.
No, Ryan's married. My brother, I think, likes women. But yeah, Ryan's responsible for us in a way.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Cool.
of course, the band is too, and of course, Pixie, Mom, Pixie White, is responsible for making that group. So,
cool. Absolutely. And you, Mandy, how far back does your love of Pixies go?
So I actually grew up with Pixies. My mum and stepdad are fans of good music. So
Oh, cool. That's good.
Really, it's just always been in my life, really. So yeah, I just grew up listening to the tapes and things, and then I moved out of home at 15 and lived in squats and got into the rave scene quite a lot. So I like my dance music, drum and bass, jungle, stuff like that. But I would always still listen to, you know, Pixies and other bands in my downtime. And then I guess I partied hard for a couple of years and then calmed down. And I just came back to Pixies really, and and sort of delved a bit deeper into them, because I think at the time I was kind of listening to Doolittle and Surfer Rosa, but I didn't really know of Bossanova or Trump really, or any of solo stuff. So yeah, I kind of delved a bit deeper into them then around 2005 probably.
Okay.
Then, and yeah, just kind of grew, and I moved away from dance music and things. So,
sensible. Yeah.
I don't know.
So one of the things I ask people on this podcast is for their favorite Pixies track. Obviously, there's two of you, so you're both welcome to have a track unless you've got the same track. I don't know.
I think we do.
No. So mine is Gouge Away.
Gouge Away. Okay. Cool.
It's weird because my favorite I think recorded track is I don't like it that much live, but my favorite on album recorded track is Velouria. Just because I don't know.
As is mine. That's my favorite.
Yeah, I think it's just like the absolute best recorded, produced, melodic piece of music that, you know, it's cool. I think it was right about then maybe that I think Charles kind of went from maybe the more kind of like abrasive, loud stuff, which I love, but it seemed with Bossanova, that's where it kind of shifted to kind of more of the melodic kind of stuff.
Sure.
Not that there wasn't melodic stuff before, but just, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm trying to say, but maybe you know what I'm trying to say.
So did you get to see them quite a few times over in the States round about then when you were first getting into them?
No. Well, I mean, they were not a band when I got into them, and that was the thing. I thought that, I thought I'd missed it. You know, I only got into them a couple of years after they'd already broken up, and I was like, and as I listened to them more and more throughout, the 90s, I was like, I'm never going to see them, and especially during the 90s, Charles seemed so over Pixies. Like, he would not play any Pixie songs. He wouldn't talk about it. Kim was doing great with the Breeders, and the other guys just had nothing going on. That sucks. But it just seemed like it's never going to happen. I missed it, So when they got together in 2004, that was crazy to me. And at first they only announced 13 like club dates, and it ended with their show at Coachella. And I think at that point they didn't even know if people were going to be into it or how well it would do. So they hadn't announced a world tour or anything, but one of those 13 dates was in Boise, Idaho, which happened to be my home state. And that's crazy because no one ever plays Idaho. Like, whenever we wanted to see a band, we had to hope they would play Salt Lake City, Utah, and had 4 hours there to see them. And so those tickets went on sale. You had to buy them in person the morning of. There was no phone, internet, anything. So I remember ditching my college classes, saying I was sick, driving through the night before during this huge blizzard to get to this record shop in Boise to like buy some tickets. And so I bought like 10 tickets just for friends, and I knew people would want to go. And Ryan Boyle took one of them, and my brother took one of them, and that was crazy. I'm like,
wow.
Finally getting to see them. And then since then, I've seen them, I think 20 something times.
Oh wow, okay. That's impressive. What about you, Mandy?
What about you, River?
So I saw them with the Doolittle reunion tour. When was that?
2009?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I went to that, paid a ridiculous amount of money from, scalpers for tickets, dragged my sister along to that. She had swine flu, but we didn't know, and she was like dead. She was like on the floor, like having a real hard time, and I was awful. I'm like,
get over it.
I'm here. So yeah, that was great.
Where was that? Was that Brixton?
Brixton, yeah.
So you were at that Brixton gig as well then?
Well, that was.
I'd love to just have
It's a bit like the Sex Pistols. Everyone thinks that they were at the Sex Pistols gig, don't they? And at the 100 Club, and everyone is like, if everyone was there who said they'd been there, it would have been packed out with thousands of people.
Yeah.
Brixton.
Yeah. So yeah, I did that in 2009, and then nothing until that Hyde Park gig a couple years ago. When was that? 2017, I think, in the summer. So since, a fair few times I've been over to the States and things. So I've had my fair share.
You talking about your sister reminds me of the first time I saw them, which was at Glastonbury '89, and we went up for the day. It's not very far from where we live, Glastonbury. It's only about 45 minutes up the road. Anyway, I was really, really rough. I had flu. I didn't know at the time. And we went up, and thankfully, they played the first day, and saw them. And then we were camping in a field, and next to us, there was a rave, and I just did not sleep at all through the whole night. So literally, I saw Pixies, Wonder Stuff, and a couple of other bands who I forget who they were, and we went home the next day because I had a temperature of over 100, and I was the car driver. So that was my experience of watching Pixies as well for the first time. Sorry?
Yeah. At least you got to see the Pixies.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. And then I saw them the next year. They came to Exeter on the Bossanova tour and played at the university in Exeter, at the Great Hall, which was really good.
Love to have seen them in their initial run, Yeah. That's great.
And then, of course, Charles went off and broke up the band, which I was really gutted about at the time, and went and did his solo work. So how do you two both feel about his solo work?
I love it.
Apart from the Cult of Ray, obviously.
I love Cult of Ray.
That might be your favorite. One of your favorites.
It's definitely in the top 3. Yeah, I love that. I love obviously the first two, and I love Bluefinger as well.
So
that's
post-Catholics, Black Francis
stuff. Rather than Frank Black. Yeah, but like I say, I've not really got into the Catholics, so that's something I need to.
So from his solo career, then, which songs would you two choose from his work there?
I think mine may be Speedy Marie. I really love that.
Good choice.
From his, is this just like non-Catholic solo stuff?
Yeah. So I'll ask you about Catholics as well.
Yeah. So probably.
Oh goodness.
Which one do you like? The Screamers? Do you like the Screamers?
He likes the shouty ones. He likes Tame, I think.
Tame? Are you Tame? No. Mama. I probably think Teenager is probably my favorite of like the solo Frank Black records.
Yeah.
But I love this one too.
Yeah.
Favorite song? It's hard to pick. It's hard to pick a favorite. I don't know. I can't pick a favorite. I have a hard time picking favorite songs.
That's okay. Don't worry.
It's for me to pick an album. Like I think Teenager is probably my favorite of the first 3 solo records, and then the first one just beneath it, and then Cult of Ray I like, but it's.
Which is your favorite?
I don't know. It's it's a few steps down from the first two.
Okay.
But I think it's still got some great stuff on it. Cultivate was the first album that I bought like the day it came out, because before then I was catching up, and then I heard it was coming out, and I remember buying it at a record store 4 hours away in Salt Lake City because you couldn't get it in Idaho, and I was like,
right.
Putting it in a Discman, the headset in the back of my parents' car, and pushing play, and thinking like, oh, this is cool, but I don't think I understood yet, but I think that there was a step down in production that wasn't as polished as the first two, and so I could sense that, like, I like it, but it's different, not what I was expecting. But that's Charles, you know. I don't think he sits at one place for more than a record or two.
No, you're absolutely right. And the latest record certainly is a real diversion, I think.
And you know what? Thank goodness, because if he just kept doing the same thing over and over, how many people listen to Green Day anymore? I don't know. Like, I feel like it gets old if you just kind of churn out the same stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So back in the States, well, I guess you still do it now. You're a cartoonist, aren't you?
Yeah.
Is that how you describe yourself?
Animator.
Animator.
Yeah. More specifically, I'm a background designer. So, for Bob's Burgers. So.
Which we saw on the plane coming back from Australia. I know we posted about it because we saw your name come up in the credits at the end of it, because I'd never watched it before. It was on the plane coming back from Australia.
Yeah.
And I thought, it rang a bell with me, and I suddenly realised where it rang a bell. So I sort of watched it, and then I was able on the in-service TV to actually freeze frame it. I took a picture of it with your name on the credits. So.
Legit, he's not making it up.
So how long have you been doing that then?
Let's see. Well, I went to school in LA for animation, and the first kind of internship I had was on King of the Hill. If that rings a bell to people here in the UK.
Yeah.
It does. And so that was 2007. And so I worked on that just as like a grunt, like not drawing, just like making copies of things. But then was on that for a few years, and then that ended. And then I worked on, they did a new season of Beavis and Butthead.
Mm-hmm.
I was on for a year. And then after that, I was on The Simpsons for a year and a half. And all these jobs, I was on the production side. So I was coordinating things. I wasn't drawing anything. And I was just, trying to get my foot in the door and trying to work it so I could make that shift to the artist side. And then some friends I'd worked with on King of the Hill, they'd gone off and they were on Bob's Burgers, and they're like, hey, we've got a background design position opening up if you want to try out for it. Try out, like sports.
Yeah.
But no, not like sports, but you take a test actually. They're like,
oh, really?
Here's a scene you need to draw, and it needs to match this style, and you have 48 hours to do it and submit it back to us.
Wow.
And then look at it and see if, because that's the thing, right? There's hundreds of people working on this one show that should have a uniform kind of style. And so then need to make sure that everyone can kind of replicate it so it all matches. And so, so I've been on Bob's for 8-ish years or so. And luckily they were super cool about letting me work remotely for them. So I could move here and keep working for them. And
cool.
And in a way, I feel like I was the guinea pig for the coronavirus, because they're like, hey, Kimball can work from home, so everyone can work from home. And so everyone's been working from home. So luckily, animation hasn't really been hit like other things. Everyone's able to sit at their workstations at home and submit things online, and it still comes together. So we've been really lucky.
So how does that work then? Do you get like the premise of a script and that, and they tell you what scenes they want? And
the script comes first, and then there's coordinators and supervisors who kind of break it down. And there'll be a lot of locations that get reused every episode, so we don't really have to do that. But anytime there's a new place the characters go to, the director and the writer will say, you know, it needs to be something like this, or I was thinking it was like this. They'll provide kind of pictures, and then you kind of just make rough designs based on that, submit it. They say it sucks, do it this way,
okay,
that way, and it kind of a back and forth until it's where they want it, and then that gets handed off to the animators, and they'll use the designs as kind of the blueprint while they're making the actual show.
And how long a sort of turnaround process is that then, from start to finish for an episode?
So from start to finish is about 8 months.
Wow, what, for an episode?
Yeah.
Wow.
So we're working on 6 to 12 at a time, just at different.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, like I'm always working on the Christmas episode in the middle of June or July. You know, so yeah, so it's crazy. It takes 8 months, and then it's 22 minutes, and it's over. So, but it's fun, and it's a great job. I'm super lucky that I'm still able to do it.
And it's still a popular show, obviously.
Yeah, it's popular. We're making a movie.
Yeah,
that's coming out if movie theaters are a thing anymore. I don't know. Yeah, so it's doing well, and fingers crossed it keeps doing well for a long time.
And how do all your colleagues feel about you being in England and they're all back in the States?
Oh, I think they're fine. Yeah, you know, luckily, like, everyone texts and messages still, so I'm still in touch with everyone. You know,
the time difference isn't an issue in that for you then, so.
No, it's not even that bad. Just there's an hour or two overlap the end of my day with the beginning of theirs, so any kind of coordination that needs to happen happens then, and other than that, you just kind of do my tasks and wait for the revisions.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
So you're enjoying England?
Yeah, I am. It's great. Everyone's nice. Like,
really?
Well,
you've moved here when the country's got very, very stroppy. So.
It's not like I go out and like talk to anybody, but just
no,
like,
we don't talk to anyone.
Well, I don't know. Coming from LA, where everyone's in their car all the time, going to where they need to go, and then there's not a lot of interaction. People are kind of really isolated. I think people in certain places like LA have a hard time just talking with people like normally. I think there has to be something that, anyway. But no, I think England's great. I like that there's seasons. That might be weird to hear for, I don't know, people complain about playing in the cold sometimes, but having been in LA for, 13, 14 years before, where it was just like, it was nice, but it was
hot and sunny every day.
All year round. And so you kind of forgot that there's more than that. And so I love it when it rains here. You know, Mandy'd be like, oh, it's raining all week. Oh, it's kind of.
I always remember. I'm sure you know him, Bill Hicks, the comedian. He did a piece about you can understand people in. I think that was LA actually, going on about, oh, I love it here. The weather every day is hot and sunny. Today is hot and sunny. Tomorrow hot and sunny. Next week hot and sunny. And he's like, what are you, a fucking lizard or something like that?
Yeah.
I think I'm a lizard.
Mandy loves that. She's always like, can we go away somewhere that's warm? Well, we could have, but pandemic.
Not anymore.
Yeah. So no, but it's good. And I mean, the only downside is I don't get to really see my family and friends.
Sure.
But luckily there's, Facebook and Zoom and Skype and whatever else people use that, we're still able to stay in touch with them. That's really the only downside, not being able to, visit family as much as we'd like. But besides that, like, the country's beautiful. The weather's great. I'm here with Mandy and River and the boys, and we're in a house now, and I'm able to work from home.
And you've just moved to the country?
Is this the country? Is it considered the country?
It's more country, I think. Where were you before? Were you Reading, Maidenhead?
We were kind of by Windsor.
Okay.
We were in Cookham. No, he's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
We were right by Slough.
No, we were right by Windsor Castle.
Slough.
Slough. Yeah.
So we were really rural, and it was nice. But actually prefer it here. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice area. We've only been here for a month or two, but it just feels good.
It feels good.
We're close to the boys' school, so
yeah.
Just everything we need is right here, and it's just nice, and we're not in a 2-bedroom flat anymore.
Yay!
That's good. That's good.
A bit more space, and
yeah, well, you certainly get more for your money, don't you, when you move away from London?
Yeah,
definitely. So really pleased. Yeah.
You're enjoying Wiltshire then?
We're close to you, so we'll have to
yeah
together and.
Yeah, and you must be close to Bath and Bristol as well. So
ventured that far, yeah. I think all our free time has just been trying to get things sorted with the house, really.
Of course.
A fixer-upper.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we didn't really realise how much work that was to do until.
Oh, tell me about it.
The owner's junk was out, and you just see it for what it is. So yeah, we've got a bit of work to do, but we'll get there. Yeah.
Do you like doing that sort of thing? I hate it.
Painting. I think in my head I'm like, yeah, painting is really fun. I'll put my music on, I'll have some wine, and within like 20 minutes I'm bored. I don't know how people do it for a job.
I know I have a feeling.
So
and it's just like soul crushing when you do a coat, like, okay, and you're like, oh, I have to do like 3 more coats.
Yeah. We just bedroom last weekend, and it was a bright putrid green, and we covered it with a light grey, and it took 4 coats, and it's just it's not for me. So we've decided we're going to get someone
hiring a painter for the rest
to
of the
do
house.
the rest of the house, because we did the box room and it was enough. So
I don't blame you. I'd do that as well if I could afford it, but unfortunately we can't at the moment. But
I don't know if we can, but
put it on the credit card.
We'll have to eat beans on toast for a little while.
We've been in this house for about 5 years, I think it is now, and we've only sort of decorated about 2 rooms. So it's not our thing. Jordan's more into it than I am, but I get a real grump on when anything to do with DIY. So, as a result, nothing happens.
Like a Pinterest board with everything on, but when it actually comes to doing the stuff, not for me.
Yeah, no, not for me either. So that's great that you're enjoying Wiltshire, and you got all that to look forward to be able to get out and explore new areas. Bath is beautiful. I don't know if you've been there before, but
yeah, I've been before, not for a while, but yeah, it'd be nice to take Kimball there.
Yeah, I haven't been. I've been to Bristol once with you. We saw Dinosaur Jr. there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
But yeah.
And does Kimball have ambitions to turn himself into an English country gentleman?
He's got a flat cap.
Has he?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I've got a Pixies cap right now. As soon as I wanted that Pixies flat cap from the shop, I went to get it, and my size is sold out. So.
Have you got the Adam Henry short tweed jacket though? That's what you really need to be an English country gent.
No, not yet.
Yeah, we need to get him to Marks and Spencer's.
Well, if you need any advice, Adam's the man to speak to. He'll deck you out so you still got street cred, but you still look like an English gent. So
yeah,
that's what you need to do. So Frank Black and the Catholics then. Mandy, I know you said a bit like me, you haven't really got into them. Kimball, are you a fan of the Catholics' work?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love Catholics. It's funny because I did kind of dip out from Frank for a bit. I did, the first Catholics record came out and I loved it, and then Pistolero came out.
Yeah.
And I loved it too, but it just kind of, to me, it felt kind of more the same. And then Dog in the Sand came out and I missed it, and I picked it up later, and that's my favorite Catholics record. That's the one where they kind of shifted to Americana, kind of folky, twangy stuff. And I loved it, and that was the record where they really perfected the live to 2-track thing that they'd been doing, and that record sounds amazing to me. Just it's crazy to me that you listen to that record and it sounds as well produced as his first solo one, or Teenager, or any other record he's done. But when you realize it's like on some tracks there's like 7 dudes in a room playing at the same time, and then some of them will switch halfway from one instrument to another to get a live track, and it's really incredible to me. So yeah, Dog in the Sand's my favorite Catholics record, and I do like them all. But yeah, Dog in the Sand's the one.
And would that be your track as well that you would choose?
No,
Catholics?
Love that track, but favorite track on that record is probably St. Francis Dam Disaster. Because I feel like that one is a really good example of them doing the live to 2-track thing to like perfection. Because that sounds like a produced studio track to me, but it's I mean, it was in a studio, but it was all of them playing at the same time, and it just sounds, there's piano in it, there's like acoustic, electric, I think there's like banjo in it, like it's just, there's a lot going on, and it sounds full, and the story is really cool. It's one of the historical kind of California songs he's done so many of, and it's really cool. That's my favorite, probably of all the Catholic songs too. So that album and Catholics.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Right, I'm just going one last question for you both, because I think you've got more than enough to be getting on with, and I've teed you up a little bit for this question. This was the question that I asked Adam yesterday, which came from a friend from the group, and hang on, I have to take my glasses off to read it though. So sorry.
Which friend?
I'm not allowed to reveal their identity, I'm afraid. Sorry. So I'm going to alternate it though. So obviously this, Mandy, you're answering on behalf of Kimball, and Kimball, you're answering on behalf of Mandy. So here we go. Who wants to go first?
Ladies first.
Ladies first. Okay. Mandy, you're having one of those awful dreams where suddenly you've been put on a stage naked in front of a huge crowd, and they're all waiting for you to sing a song. Which Pixie song are you going to sing? But I'm asking you, which song are you going to make Kimball sing?
Yeah, I think Head Carrier.
Any particular reason?
Go for it. I don't care. All right.
Are you happy with that choice, Kimball?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
He's done it before.
Yeah.
What, naked on a stage?
Not on a stage, no.
Just naked. Okay.
So. All right. Okay. Here's the story, right?
Yeah.
Back when we just started kind of talking seriously, Facebook.
Yeah.
This is before we met. And I think we were kind of joking around and stuff, and I don't know how that came up, but I think
I said it.
You said it, and you
wouldn't do it.
You kind of dared me.
Yeah.
Like, I dare you to do a cover of Head Carrier, because I think you'd said Head Carrier was your favorite off the record. That was the new record at the time. Head Carrier. Yeah. We'd all joined the Pixies fan group stuff, because that record had just come out and all that. So she's like, I dare you to record yourself singing that song for me, wearing only your Pixies hat or something like that. I'm always wearing a Pixies hat.
Yeah.
And so I took her up on it. I learned the song, and I mean, I sat there with an acoustic guitar. You couldn't see my bits.
Cool. Kept your modesty.
I did a horrible cover version of it, and I sent it to her.
It was great. Hey.
And something worked out, because
I still came over. So.
She still came over to Vegas, and
have you still got that on your phone, though, Mandy?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
I got it backed up.
Brilliant. Okay, so over to you now, Kimball. Same question. What song would you choose for Mandy?
I don't know. Bamthwalk, maybe?
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding?
If it's a nightmare, right? It's not supposed to be like a beautiful thing, right? It's like, go sing the worst song ever naked on stage.
Okay.
No. Okay. But how about a good song? Okay. What would be a really... Oh, I've Been Waiting for You. I know it's a cover. I know it's a cover.
It's a great cover, though. It's a great cover.
It went... Okay, Bamthwalk is the worst thing Kim sang. Yeah. And I've Been Waiting for You is the best thing she sang in the band. So there you go.
I'll take that.
Naked, I've Been Waiting for You.
Yeah.
You're okay with that, Mandy?
Yeah, I mean, I can do that.
Sure.
I'm not going to, but
I wasn't asking you to do that. I was just...
No, but I'm just like, he made me a video.
Well, now it's in my head. We'll get there. We'll get there.
It's just a question from one of the members of the group who's just got a mind of a dirty, mucky mind. So, and it's a female as well, which gives you a bit of a clue.
Jules.
It's Zeiss. Bloody Zeiss.
I'm giving nothing away. And on that note, I'm going to say thank you very much indeed for your time. It's been brilliant. I'm going to go and listen to all your podcasts now, so as I can say I've listened to them. And
we'll release more.
Sorry. If you've done 30, I've got a hell of a lot of catching up to do. So until lockdown, I'd never listened to a podcast, and then I started listening to the Louis Theroux ones that he did, which you can find on the BBC Sounds app. Which there are some really good ones on there. And then I think somebody on the group actually recommended the Adam Buxton ones as well. So and there's like 130 of those. So I've been listening to them as well, which are really great. And then I've just sort of got the idea of doing it. And in fact, I actually use the same microphone as well that they use, which is the Yeti Blue. Yeti Blue, yeah. And so it's used by Louis Theroux, Adam Buxton, and me. All the best podcasters. I can't even speak. All the best podcasters. I'll edit that bit. Use this mic.
Yeah, it was fun.
Oh no, it's been brilliant. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. And I just think it's a nice chance for us all to spend a bit of time together, not as we would like to be doing at gigs and things like that, but just, sing a little bit into each other's lives and chatting about Pixies and hopefully bringing some smiles to people. So it's been lovely. Thank you so much. And seeing your adorable little boy as well. The first Pixie baby.
There you go.
So,
what do you want to say? Do you want to say anything?
I want my dinner. Dinner time, Dad. I want my dinner.
It's bedtime.
Yeah, he's tired. Okay.
It's been great, guys. Thank you so much. And hopefully next time I see you, we'll be physically in person as well.
Hopefully, okay? We'll get over this pandemic thing. And
Tilly.
Yep.
And Tilly, yeah, definitely. Come down to sunny Devon.
Yeah. We'll do. We'll be
okay, guys.
Okay.
All right.
Love you. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.